Hello everybody and welcome to Pristina, the capital of Kosovo. We're having an interview on France 24 and our guest today will be Mr. Hashim Thaçi, the Prime Minister of Kosovo.
Hello.
Hello, Minister. You're the outgoing as well as future Prime Minister since you just won the last elections which were held on Sunday. And I would like to ask you the following question. Are you fully satisfied with the result of the elections?
Yes, I'm very happy with the standards we have achieved in these elections. They are on a par with European standards. This was a referendum by Kosovo on its independence and on the future of Kosovo within the Euro-Atlantic Alliance. It's a victory, a very deep and strong, convincing victory of the party which I lead, the Kosovo Democratic Party, our vision and our view of the future changes in Kosovo. And I'm going to form a reforming government very soon.
However, the Electoral Commission has said that you are 10 percentage points ahead of your rival party, the LDK, but it still has alleged that there were electoral frauds, and some observers have questioned the way these elections were held in two of your strongholds.
The opinion of international observers, of Baroness Ashton, Mr. Fuller, and of the European community and the representatives of the United States are that these elections have been free and democratic, where all political parties, of course, who have complaints about the elections can submit them to the Electoral Complaints Commission, but this will not have any final impact on the definitive result, which is perfectly convincing.
Are you going to hold new elections in those two municipalities?
I will respect all the decisions of the Electoral Complaints Commission. I'm not worried about this. The result is convincing and clear-cut, and it will not change the results because we have already achieved the European standard. So there are no complaints on the part of my party, but all complaints about the elections will be studied by the committee, and nothing will damage Kosovo's future.
72 different countries have already recognized Kosovo. Do you think that this tidal wave, if I might call it so, might sweep through the rest of the world, or is it going to die out?
72 countries have recognized the Republic of Kosovo, and others will do so. I invite all the countries of the European Union who haven't recognized Kosovo to do so very quickly. Recognition of Kosovo by 5 more EU countries will help to consolidate and reinforce Kosovo and to implement the agenda. Non-recognition of these countries will delay the prospect of Kosovo joining the European Union. And Kosovo is ready to join the EU.
And how are you going to put together a stable government? You don't have the absolute majority, so you're going to have to strike alliances with some other parties. I'm thinking of the Self-Determination Party, who wants Kosovo not to be present on the international scene. So how are you going to manage a coalition that's going to hold the shock?
I have obtained a better victory than in 2007. I will form a broader government, a stable government, and a multi-ethnic government.
And with which parties?
A broader government, put it this way.
But not necessarily with your former coalition partners.
I will form a government very quickly, and those who will join me and support my concept and my vision of Kosovo can join me anytime.
Serbs in the north of Kosovo boycotted the elections quite clearly. When one might have thought that this was a good opportunity for reconciliation, but this did not happen. What do you think you're going to do with the north of Kosovo?
We will work in line with the commitments of President Ahtisaari's document, which is internationally recognized. We will continue to pursue the strategy of integration of the Kosovo government and the EU, joining the EU, and it will be a multi-ethnic, physical, territorial integration, creation of new municipalities, 3 new municipalities, free elections in those municipalities, and also social and economic investment.
Would you think things are getting better in Mitrovica now?
We have started to improve things, and we will continue to the end until total normalization.
You are going to have to negotiate with Belgrade. Some Serbs even talk about the partition of that part of the country, the north of the country. Is that foreseeable or not?
Kosovo is sovereign, independent, with recognized integrity, territorial integrity. There will be interstate relationships with Serbia.
Do you want to negotiate a more stable state of things with Belgrade or not? And do you have enough clout to do so?
We have negotiated for 12 years with Belgrade, and now there will no longer be any more negotiations. We are a sovereign and independent country. There will be meetings to improve our relations between Serbia and Kosovo, interstate, and on the basis of our Euro-Atlantic agenda. And so the aim is mutual recognition of our two countries. Kosovo will recognize Serbia, and Serbia will recognize Kosovo as an independent country.
You seem to be highly optimistic here. And there's another question I would like to ask you, which has to do with corruption. Corruption was one of the main themes of your electoral campaign, and I think this actually involved, or actually the alleged corruption involved several of the members of your government, namely the Minister of Transport. Is the fight against corruption one of your priorities as well?
The vote by the citizens has been a vote of confidence in me, and it strengthens my vision of a reforming and efficient government and restoring the rule of law based on zero tolerance for corruption. But I will not make it possible for politics to interfere with justice and justice to interfere with politics.
In other words, one can very well be a candidate, even if ULEX have pressed charges against you.
The judiciary is doing its job. Collaboration with ULEX is excellent. The battle against corruption is managed by me and our institutions and with the support of ULEX.
You also promised a 50% increase in salaries for civil servants, and you also have a very ambitious construction program, but with what money?
We've reached the final phase of the budgeting of Kosovo. I've made a commitment to have every year in my next to increase the budget by 150 million euros from the integration of the informal economy by finding other savings.
Now, the international presence, you said how important it was for your country, or to get it going, but for how long? How long do you expect international missions should be kept in your country?
The process of supervised independence is gradually ending, and this year we should begin the exit strategy of international bodies, except those that have to stay.
So, in other words, this is going to be a great leap forward in 2012.
This year we must start our exit strategy.
And you firmly believe in it, don't you?
Yes, Kosovo is a consolidated country which has been reinforced.
Were you surprised by the different revelations through WikiLeaks about your country, Kosovo?
Everything we have done with the United States, we have done in complete transparency. Our friendship is very deep, and we have common interests. I have nothing to add to what Secretary Clinton has said.
Now, how do you envisage solving the problem of very high unemployment figures, 48% to this day? So what do you envisage as a solution?
There will be 3 priorities for domestic policies: capital investment, a reduction in unemployment, and an increase in the social welfare of our citizens, the increase of social welfare.
And why hasn't this been possible? What is the reason for such high unemployment?
The origin of unemployment was 1 century of occupation by Serbia. In the 1990s, the Kosovars were driven from their jobs and the country was almost brought to a halt.
Thank you very much, Minister, for being our guest on the interview. France 24, this is the end of our interview in Pristina, but stay with us for more.